At a party at a museum, Bruce tracks down the mysterious woman and they talk. She wants a photograph that Luthor has, needing the device to try to track it. Otherwise, she returns it. Once he has it, he starts decrypting the information on it, which leads us to The Nightmare, with a K, as it's called. I always forget that the nightmare sequence is in this movie, because it just comes so far out of left field. And it really shouldn't. Bruce has had 2 nightmares with an N already, so what's yet another dream sequence? Basically, Batman is in some kind of post-apocalyptic setting, but now wearing a trench coat over the Batsuit for some reason. There's an Omega symbol scarred into the ground, there are fire pits like Apocalypse. I remember in the theater being so utterly confused, like the copy of the movie the theater was showing had been messed up and was playing out of order because there was no setup to this. Anyway, Batman meets up with some Resistance members to show him kryptonite, but it's a trap and he's captured by the authoritarian government that all works for Superman.
No! Dr. Fishy! No!
Parademons show up, then Superman arrives and murders Batman and the Resistance.
She was my world. And you took her from me.
Okay. So, last year, Snyder apparently did a live commentary over this film, and he finally explained what the hell the deal was with the nightmare scene. Now, I know that the Snyder cut of Justice League went into this a bit more, but bear in mind, none of this is in the final film. It's set up for future films in the long-term plans for the DC Cinematic Universe. But for just this movie, here's the deal. After Superman kills Bruce, he wakes up and the Flash shows up and yells that Lois Lane is the key and that he realizes he's too soon, that he's right about Superman, then vanishing before Bruce wakes up again. As Snyder explained in the commentary, in an alternate timeline, the Flash travels back in time to warn Bruce not to kill Lois Lane, because that will make Superman join forces with Darkseid. He travels back in time to warn Batman not to kill Lois. Bruce, in an alternate... But why would he... What possible reason would he have... Like, even with the branding or a more murderous attitude, what reason would he... I know I'm not completing any sentences here, but that's because this information keeps making my brain blue screen, and I'm resetting! Back in March, Snyder opened up some more about his original plans for his Justice League trilogy. Bruce would have started a relationship with Lois after Clark's death. Yeah, that's not awkward or anything. And Lex Luthor would have informed Darkseid that Superman's weakness is Lois Lane, getting him to kill her. Oh, you see, Batman wasn't going to literally murder Lois. No. The two were going to have an argument, and apparently that makes him hesitate at a critical moment, so he fails to save her from Darkseid. Thanks to the Flash's warning, Batman sacrifices himself instead of letting Lois die. Superman doesn't join up with Darkseid, and they defeat Darkseid in Justice League 3. Oh, but then Superman and Lois's child, Bruce Kent, becomes the new Batman 20 years later, even saying something to the effect of, "Your Uncle Bruce would have been proud if you did this." No, he frickin' wouldn't! Because Batman's entire thing is that he doesn't want anyone else to end up like him! Even the frickin' Schumacher movies got that! But no, instead the nightmare sequence is just this weird, unnecessary, bizarre diversion that comes right the hell out of nowhere. And hey, again, fans of this movie, assuming you're still here, I get it. It wouldn't have been quite as bad if the plans hadn't fallen through. It would have just been set up for the rest of his movies. But without that, it's just freaking weird. And quite honestly, these plans sound like a really bad fanfic. And hey, some of these plans would likely have been changed anyway from edicts on high. Let's face it, while Avengers Endgame feels like a conclusion to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's clear that all the plans have been laid so that the universe can continue on, even when mainstays like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers are gone from it. I don't see the DC Cinematic Universe cutting to 20 years in the future for Bruce Kent to take over as Batman Beyond or whatever, and joining up with the kids from all the other franchises. By the way, this is one of the main reasons reasons, I have not referred to this thing as the DC Extended Universe. That seems to be the official title. Because extended from what? Certainly not from the comics with this stuff.